Hi, welcome back to Catalyst University. Alright, so I've been wanting to do a video like this for a very long time. I just never got around to doing it, but I thought it would be a good idea to do. Um, this is a video that's in a way near and dear to my heart because I used to suffer from this same problem. In this video, we're going to discuss how to rid yourself of acne. So this is a Catalyst University lecture. And so I'm going to go over a few points here, and this is going to be a pretty short video. I'm a biochemist. I've studied a lot of this stuff, and I suffered from acne, very bad cystic acne, when I was a lot younger. And I cured myself of it without the help of any doctor. In fact, doctors never helped me, without the use of any products at all. So take it from me, I'm a biochemist. So you've probably looked at a lot of videos. This is not going to sell any products, no gimmicks, no physicians, no products, not a purchase. I'm simply going to educate you because the truth is you're not going to be able to cure yourself of it until you understand what causes it and why you're getting it. So I have this little chart here. These are different methods that are typically used to treat cystic acne. The first, probably the most common you heard of, are antibiotics. Antibiotics don't work. And actually the reason all of these don't work is because they don't treat the source of the problem, which is what we're going to cover in a slide or two. So antibiotics don't work. Those are just basically molecules that you take, you swallow them as pills orally, and they kill bacteria. So if people have cystic acne, most of these people have probably tried antibiotics and it doesn't work. And you keep telling yourself it works, but in reality it's still there. Bacteria are not the problem here. Accutane is a drug that's taken that basically dries out the sebaceous glands, because a lot of the thinking by people is that, well, you have oily skin, your skin is too oily, so you're getting acne as a result of that. No, it doesn't work like that. In fact, most people that take Accutane who have this problem, Accutane doesn't work. And also it's terrible on your liver. It can really cause you liver damage, okay? Hyperhygiene, that's just sort of a term we use to say people that, take showers or wash their face and skin like 3 or 4 times a day. Well, clearly it's not caused by a hygiene problem or oily skin. If it was, it would work, right? So that hasn't worked for you. External treatments, that could include anything like you go to the dermatologist's office, they do like things like microdermabrasions, any kind of procedure like that, they don't work. Benzoyl peroxide is actually kind of bad. It's a peroxide. If you have any knowledge of chemistry, peroxides are very damaging to proteins in the skin. I wouldn't want to use that, so those don't work. And then certainly topical creams, you see those advertised on TV all the time, and they clearly don't work. Okay? You've probably tried all these things to no avail. All right, so this down here is a picture I got off the internet. This is an example of cystic acne. Now this individual has it on their chin, although you can have it anywhere. Anywhere on the face, you can have it on the neck, the back, chest, anywhere. You can even have it on your legs. It's just more common on the upper part of the body, okay? Cystic acne is not caused by any of the things dermatologists and doctors will tell you. They're going to give you antibiotics, they're going to give you all these special creams, and they don't work. So to treat this problem, you have to know what causes it. And like I said, these methods right here, these aforementioned treatments, they don't work, okay? And if you're watching this video, you probably have an understanding of that. So to understand this, you really have to know a little bit of the basic physiology of what's causing it. There are certain foreign proteins. An example of such a protein is casein. These are proteins that we get from the diet. So they're from food, okay? So some foreign proteins, i.e. like casein, they cause plasma cells, which are immune cells, they're lymphocytes, that make antibodies. And when you eat these proteins, it stimulates these cells, these immune cells, to start making specific antibodies against that protein. So if you're eating casein and you have an immune response to it, you're going to have antibodies that bind onto that protein casein. Those antibodies are going to activate a series of proteins called the complement proteins, or the complement system. And that ultimately leads to a storm of cytokines, which are proteins that help to activate an immune response and activate other immune cells such as neutrophils. So if you eat this protein and it ends up in your blood, and it will, a lot of these proteins we're talking about are not fully digestible by the stomach. You do get amounts of it that still end up in your blood. Antibodies bind to them and they activate complement system, and you get a series of cytokines that get released. Those cytokines, this is point 3, activate neutrophils especially. And neutrophils get activated, and you also get some histamine release. You've probably heard that histamine is what causes allergic reactions. That's sort of the basic way of thinking about it. It's true. Histamine is synthesized and released into the blood. The histamine increases blood vessel permeability. What that means is that in your blood vessels, there are actually what we call fenestrations. They're spaces. They're not actually completely solidified all around. So things can move through them, basically. And when you increase the vascular permeability, those neutrophils can squeeze through the cracks in the blood vessel and wind up basically outside of the blood vessel, very close to the edge of your skin, basically. And a lot of times what happens is when you have that histamine release, the neutrophils get trapped outside of those blood vessels, and there you have a cyst. Okay? So literally when you have that cystic acne, there's literally neutrophils trapped under there. Okay? And one of the things I'm just going to tell you is that, and I was told the same thing by dermatologists. They said, "Oh, diet doesn't, that doesn't cause acne, that doesn't cause problems." Well, now that we're in the 21st century and we're learning more and more about science, we realize that diet really controls everything, not just acne. It's involved in heart disease, it's involved in diabetes, and so on and so forth. Okay? And of course, they're not going to, even if they knew that diet caused it, they're not going to tell you that, because if you just went and changed your diet, they're kind of out of business. Their healthcare in this country is a business model. They need patients so they can prescribe medications, and then when they prescribe medications, they get a payout. So of course, they're not, even if they knew, they're not going to tell you to change your diet. They're going to keep you coming back for more and more antibiotics and Accutane and treatments and so forth. That's how these companies make a lot of money, is off of people believing that diet doesn't cause it, but it does. So the question is, if the foreign protein from the diet, such as casein, is causing this immune reaction, then how do you stop it? Well, you have to eliminate the source. Don't eat casein. It's as simple as that. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. Casein is the most common protein that does this. There could be other minor ones that people eat that they just, for whatever reason, specifically have a reaction to, but almost always casein really seems to be the issue. Where does casein come from? Unfortunately, and you might not like to hear this, it's the primary protein in all dairy products. So I'm talking about milk, whether it's chocolate milk, regular milk, cheese, like the cheese on pizza, yogurt, everything. It all has casein in it. So how do you eliminate the source? You just can't eat dairy. You can't eat it. You have to stop cold turkey and never eat it. You can't just say, well, I'll allow some, every 4 or 5 days. No, you have to stop completely. That's what I did. And it alleviated the problem completely. And there are other foreign proteins that can affect people. Gluten would be a good example, but it's not common that that's the one that is. It seems to be dairy that really is the one that does it if you suffer from this problem. There are other things that can aggravate it too, like eating too much sugar. High sugary diet, so standard American diet high in sugar, is known to elicit this problem. And in some people, rare cases, hypoglycemia, the opposite case. If you don't eat enough, you can get this problem because your body goes into a stress response. But that's a completely different story. We're talking about food that you're eating, and it turns out that dairy, and specifically the casein that's in it, is the problem. Okay? In fact, most people that have an allergy to dairy it's not the lactose, it's the casein they're allergic to. A very, very underreported thing that happens. Casein is very common for people to be allergic to. So if you want to eliminate the source of the problem, you have to stop eating the dairy. The antibiotics, the Accutane, these treatments, they're never going to do anything for you. They never will. You have to eliminate the source of the problem, and that's casein, which comes from dairy. And what I would recommend doing is to stop. Now, I'm not advertising any products. I'm going to tell you what worked for me. This is the Paleo Diet. Now, there are variations of this with, different levels of strictness. But in general, what the Paleo Diet is, I would recommend Googling it. Google a list of foods that are on it. It's basically a diet very, very low in sugar and high in protein. Okay? So we're talking about things, healthy foods, like we're talking about your lean meats, so chicken, steak, fish, and vegetables, and then fruits and nuts, things like that. You have lots of water. You don't drink sugary sodas, stuff like that. The Paleo Diet excludes dairy and grains, Although I would say if you don't have an immune response to the grains, like bread and stuff, you can eat those. Okay, and if you are really efficient at cutting the dairy out of your diet, usually these people report clearing in 1 week. I cleared in 1 week. I had it horrible. The picture I showed you before, mine was far worse than that. I had it everywhere. It cleared within 1 week. And by about a week and a half or 2 weeks, it was completely gone. I've known other people who have seen the same effect. They don't have to cut out the bread. So I do the paleo diet as a way to start out, but most of the people can tolerate breads. It's the dairy that they can't tolerate. So what I would recommend doing is do a quick Google search for the paleo diet. Look at the foods that are on it. All I'm doing is educating you on how it works, what causes it, and this is my experience. Okay, I'm not here advertising any products. In fact, I advertise against those products. They don't work. I advertise against physicians. I do that all the time in my videos. Physicians are out there for the money. They really don't care about their patients like most people think they do. If they did, they would just tell them to change their diet, but they don't do that. Okay, so no gimmicks, no products. I'm just here as an educator. That's all I am. I give you the basic physiology. You have to eliminate the source. You can take all the Accutane and antibiotics in the world, but if you're still eating this stuff, you're still going to have the problem. You have to eliminate the source. Once you do that, then you can start to heal. So make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for future videos and notifications. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.